Howdy folks, I'm Rich Butnotfamous, and in this series of tutorials I'll be talking about my style of walkabout poetry busking. This model also works with storytellers, beatboxers, anyone with a vocal practice really. Just before we get into this, I'd just like to mention that this style of busking isn't the only way. There's the door-to-door poet, Rowan McGabe, there's also Christian Coupland, a street typist as well, and they do custom work for their client, obviously. Rowan goes knocking door to door and writing poems for them, and then Christian Coupland, the street typist, goes out into the street and writes stuff directly for her clients. So the model that I'm going to be explaining over this course of videos is for poets who have a body of work already. I'm not teaching you how to write poetry. This is about how to capitalise on this infinite resource that you've been generating. So, put simply, my way of busking involves wandering streets and festivals and simply asking people if they'd like to hear a poem, and then I present a menu of poems to them and charge them per poem. I can also email them after the performance with MP3 and PDF formats of the poem that they've just bought to. So this is a way of creating intimacy in the strangest of places. I've performed my poem about quantum mechanics walking backwards down the street for someone. A poem about the hatred of poetry to 3 English teachers sat by a canal one evening, through restaurant and car windows, or simply lifted someone's spirit. So memorised poems are an infinite resource, and I want to help you make a living from that. What Rowan's, Chris's and my styles show is that we all thought outside of the box to create a new way of delivering our material. So again, whilst I'm detailing what I do here for you, I would advise that you start thinking about more creative ways about how you can create a stage for yourself. So the key to this practice essentially is I used to work for Amnesty International as a charity fundraiser, and I used to write my pitches into poems. So I'm stood in the street 5 days a week, asking people if they'd like to hear a poem and then signing them to charity through that. And a friend of mine said to me that she thought I cared more about my message than the causes, which she was entirely right about. And she thought basically I should just start taking my word out into the street instead. So I did. Thusly, I thoroughly recommend getting a job as a fundraiser, as a street charity fundraiser, for the experience. Firstly, it will let you get used to rejection. That's going to happen a lot. Secondly, learning to write to a brief is a very useful skill to have. And thirdly, if you can stop 1 person for a charity, you've already stopped 2 or 3 for poems and stories. So here's the list of the topics that I'm going to cover in this series. We're going to look at etiquette, your menu, equipment and merchandise, aftercare, presentation, site awareness, and self-care. So that's it for the introduction. Links to my website and social media are in the description. Join me next time for etiquette.